Alright, the name of this game is Aruku. It is a relaxing walk in Japan. So, the uh, title Aruku means to walk in Japanese. It's a first person virtual reality walk simulator where players follow a rural path that leads through a forest in Japan. Players are encouraged to walk in place and take deep breaths as they travel virtually. There will be instruction on how to count breaths and steps, and players can listen to relaxing music, soothing podcasts, or ambient background sounds while their total steps are displayed. Optionally, players can interact with people and animals in the environment, perform good deeds, listen to stories, or enjoy a hot cup of matcha tea. Aruku will give players the option to teleport or travel by smooth movement via their VR system controls. It will share similarities with narrative-based walking adventures like Firewatch, as well as free roam VR sightseeing applications. For teleportation, the players will be asked to take a certain number of steps in place based on how far they wish to teleport. This will set off timers during which they can take the number of steps in place necessary to get to that location. And then when the timer expires, they'll be teleported. The player will have the option to select timer speed to match slow or quick steps, or can bypass these steps completely. For smooth movement, the player will move by pressing the joystick on their VR set's handheld controller. There will be footstep sounds, and the players will be encouraged to match the speed of these step sounds. And players can ignore this prompt. They can also speed up or slow down the pace of these footsteps. Players can look around the environment and in certain situations take closer looks at objects in the environment. There'll be pop-ups that give greater detail about objects. Players can push a floating sounds button to select from a menu of options that include listening to music or podcasts, or just ambient sounds, or the sounds of footsteps. They can talk to certain people, observe animals, and engage in other activities or ignore them as they are encountered. Some activities could include chatting with locals, entering a tea house and ordering tea, rowing a boat across a lake, or returning a baby bird to a nest. Each of these actions will have unique VR controller inputs. This game will be designed for Windows platforms. It's the genre of cozy, relaxing walk simulators. It's going to be designed with Unreal Engine using blueprints and the C+ coding language, and VR testing will be done with the Meta Quest 3. Perforce will be used for our version control. The team is comprised of myself, Rob Guido. I will act as the producer, director, game designer, gameplay and AI programmer, UI designer, script writer, voice-over actor, and researcher. Some comparable products include Firewatch, which is a first-person walking mystery game that takes the player through the National Forest in Wyoming. There's gorgeous landscapes in that game. There's isolation, but there's also a sense of unease. Our game will not include that sense of unease. Instead, it will be trying to relax the player. Another game that is comparable is called Relax River HD, which is very relaxing, coasting on a river in a boat. However, there's not much else to do in this game except to observe the environment. So our game will have more to do. And Teleport Iceland, which is exactly what it sounds. It's a teleport adventure through Iceland, basically just taking in the sights. We'll be taking in the sights, but again, you'll be able to engage in some activities. The features include A-list features like VR controls, picking up and putting out items, and teleporting and smooth motion throughout the world, being able to push open a door, being able to talk with NPCs. There'll be sounds of birds chirping, wind blowing, water flowing, options to turn on and turn off the sounds. There'll be a forest environment with a clear path, trees, bridges, rivers, and a small tea house. Signs to read. Activities to do, like putting a bird's nest back in its place in a tree. Future features will include a podcast to listen to, a phone UI where you can play the podcast, VR controls for all of the activities, including tea pouring, meditation, and fancier UIs that involve finger pushes of floating buttons. Very future features will include animals to observe, a rowboat experience, and more interactions with locals, including helping someone find their lost dog, picking berries and flowers, and recording bird sounds. You'll also be able to swim at some point, both in a river and a hot spring, which you can wade in. And there'll be some seasonal differences, including the option to switch the forest to a snowy winter forest.